All right, what's going on, everybody? My name is Staff Sergeant Duncan. I'm a recruiter with the Nevada Army National Guard. The intention of this video is twofold. One is for recruiters to be able to send to their recruits an informational video of exactly how to fill out the ACE application online. And also this is for my recruits to be able to follow along, my recruits and other recruits for the Nevada Army National Guard and ultimately nationwide. Any recruiter can use this as long as they're signing up for the National Guard. This is just to give you an overview of exactly what we're looking for when it comes to this online application. So it's really important that you fill out this application perfectly the first time, because if you don't, it's going to come up with errors later on and you're going to come across a lot of issues. So if we can get this done perfectly the first time, that is the goal. So if you follow along perfectly with this video, you should have no issues filling out the online application. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you from start to finish, and from there, you're just going to follow along step by step. And even as I make mistakes, I'm going to show you how I fix those mistakes. Okay. So I'm running through this as if I'm an applicant. So what I already did from the recruiter side, I went on to Recruiter Zone. I typed in the applicant's information, and now we're at the point where the recruit should have received a notification saying that they've been registered for the online application. So let me share my screen. So as you can see, I have an email that says self-register. So first of all, I want you to look at this really quickly. There's an error in the system where sometimes it will send, it'll send the same email a bunch of times, and you need to make sure that you click the link that's the most recent email. Okay, so it sent it all at it says 33 minutes ago. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll to the bottom, which is the very first time or the very last time I received this email. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that, and it should go straight to where it asks me to create an account. Okay, so again, first thing the recruiter has to do is they need to do on their end, they need to go through the point where they've entered all the applicant's information in the 680 portion, and then they're going to register an ACE applicant. And then once they register that applicant, it'll send all the information to them, to their email. And then you're going to click on that link that I just clicked on. So I'm going to click on the top link where it says register, and now I'm going to create a password. I would not suggest using the Safari strong password. So I'm going to click don't use, and I'm going to create my own password because I need to know that password. So I'm going to create a password. So make sure you follow the guidelines there. All right, I'm not going to save that to my computer, just in case I need to get onto it from a different computer. So I've entered a password. Make sure you write down your password. That's super important. And then the next thing that's going to happen is you're going to get a pre-sign-in notification. Okay, go ahead and accept that. Okay, and then you are going to go ahead and enter your username and password. Again, don't use any of these saved passwords because those are for something else. So the username is the username that I created. Okay, so your username is your email address, and then the password is the password that you just created. Oops, let me make sure I got that right. So okay, then I'm going to click sign in. I'm not going to save the password again. You could save it, I guess, if you want to, it doesn't matter. Then it will say, it's going to ask you to validate your information. So it's very, very important that the recruiter's information that they have in their system matches this exactly. Okay, so make sure if you're the recruiter, I would suggest that you're on the line with your applicant and make sure that you're putting in this information exactly, because if not, it's going to lock out on you and you're going to have to call the help desk. Okay, so social security number, Now, I just made this social security number up, but obviously you're going to type in your social security number. So you're going to do it with the dashes, okay? And then for city of birth, the recruiter most likely typed this in all capital letters, so it's really important that it matches. So make sure that it matches exactly the way the recruiter typed it in there. So when I created this account, city of birth, Las Vegas. So, and I also did not add a space after the S on Vegas because that counts as a character. All right. And then date of birth is 2001 dash 04 dash 23. So that's the birthday. Again, you need to make sure you enter it the format correctly. If it doesn't match exactly, it's not going to work. All right. So then I'm going to click validate. Hopefully I did it correctly. Okay. So most likely you're going to see this error. It says, unfortunately, there's been an error. That's fine. It's okay. As long as it doesn't say you're locked out, you're fine. So if it says, unfortunately, there has been an error, just go ahead and log out. Okay. And then click sign in again. So this is really important for you recruiters to know also. This is a glitch that you're going to get pretty much every time. I've gotten it the last 20 times I've done one of these with an applicant. It's really hard to figure out if you don't know what to do. So go ahead and go back to pre-sign in notification and then re-sign in. Okay. So again, it's the email address is your username. And then the password. Sign in. Okay, so hopefully it'll take you to this section, which says continue your application. All right, it's going to ask you to upload all these documents. I suggest you just do not do that and click continue anyway. You don't have to upload the documents if you're the recruit. The recruiter will upload those documents for you. So I click continue, and then you should get to this page, okay? This is your online application. So this has to be done perfectly, all right? So what I'm gonna suggest, if you're the recruit, is that you literally follow along each one of these sections with me, because it's very important that we get each section. So this is gonna take a little bit, but if we do this together right now, if you follow along with this video, you shouldn't be able to make any mistakes, and it should be smooth sailing after you get done. So I'm going to go ahead and click. Oh, first thing you got to do is click on instructions. Usually the recruiter will do that for you because he needs to fill out one of the portions for you. But if this part hasn't been filled out for you, instructions, just go ahead and read all these instructions right here. It's basically just you complying to the rules and applying to that, to the National Guard. So click save there. Okay, so now that one's complete. Now we're going to click on person. So if you're following along with this video, click on person with me, okay? A lot of this information should already be filled in for you because your recruiter did that. All right, so this is my name for now, Joe Lawrence Smith. So make sure you confirm that all of it's correct. And notice that we typed this in all capital letters, okay? All caps. I'm gonna repeat that again. It's very important that everything is all capital letters. The National Guard guidance counselors are now requiring that this is in all capital letters, okay? So I'm gonna type in my height and weight. This is in inches, height is in inches. So I'm 71 inches tall. You can see it just populated my maximum weight. So if you're over the maximum weight, you're gonna have to get a body fat test. So make sure you let your recruiter know that. Okay, my weight is approximately 165 pounds. Then just go ahead and scroll down and go do this with me. We're gonna do hair color. Are you registered to vote? Yes or no? You're gonna click yes if you are, no if you're not. Ethnic category, you need to make sure you fill this part out. So there's gonna be a default. It's probably gonna default to whatever your recruiter put in there. If that's not correct, just go ahead and change it. Okay, and then you should see that your address is already put in there, and if it's, make sure it's correct. If it's not, go ahead and change it. If you have a driver's license, go ahead and put that in there. So I'm going to go ahead and put my driver's license number in there. Okay, I'm just going to make it up for the sake of this video, but you're going to go ahead and put your driver's license in there. If you don't have a driver's license, just go ahead and skip that part. You can leave that blank. Okay. Most of you are going to be 17 or 18 years old who are filling this out. So never married with no dependents. If that's not the case for you, go ahead and put it whatever the case is for you. then you're going to go ahead and click save. So after you click save, your recruiter can go and review that. So sex at birth, I forgot to hit that. So I got an error there. So I need to go ahead and put in my sex at birth. So my sex at birth is male. My current gender is a male. So save. All right, now you should see that now that that's done, it will say applicant input. So that means it's your recruiter's turn to do that. Okay. Now the next section is physical screening criteria. Now, if you're one of my applicants, most likely you and I already did this section together if you're doing the application, but some recruiters, they don't do it that way. But my suggestion to you is do not fill out physical screening criteria without your recruiter present. Okay. The reason for this is because physical screening criteria is designed to disqualify you. So what I'm going to do right now is, since this is not complete, I'm not going to touch physical screening criteria. Let me say this one more time. Okay. If you fill out anything incorrectly in physical screening criteria, you cannot change the answers and you could be disqualified for service. Okay. So if you're watching this video, please talk to your recruiter before filling out physical screening criteria. Fill this section out with your recruiter. Okay. This is your warning right now. All right. And then also the same thing goes for moral screening criteria. So I want you to write that down. Do not fill out physical screening criteria. Do not fill out moral screening criteria without, I would have your recruiter do that one for you, because there's a lot of things that the recruit could mess up if you don't know what you're doing. Okay. So we did personal, we're skipping physical. Now we're not skipping personal. So you're going to go into personal. So we're skipping physical. We're not skipping personal. So there's 2 pages to personal. Okay. These are all the documents that you're going to need to fill out personal. So we're going to go to page 1 and we're just going to fill these out. Do you have a previous marriage? No. Have you ever been divorced? No. Have you ever been separated? No. All of these questions, for most people, these are all going to be no, but I want you to read those questions. If any of those questions are yes, you'll click yes. Okay. Now, if you have any questions, you can ask your recruiter, but most of these answers should be no, especially if you're just fresh out of high school or anything like that. If you do have kids, some of these questions may be yes. If you're married, some of these questions may be yes, but all of these should mostly be no. If there's any yes answers, then you can go ahead and click yes on those. Okay, so I just finished that section. Okay, so now we're done with that section. Okay, so we're going to return to our profile. So you want to make sure both of those say complete on the side. Okay, so see how it says applicant input? Again, we're skipping physical, we're skipping moral. We're going to psychological and emotional health screening criteria. Okay, so we're going to go to page 1 here and we're going to answer these questions. There's only 4 questions here. Have you ever, so any of these questions, all right? Now, if you've ever had any mental health issues and you haven't already talked to your recruiter about it, it's very important that you talk to your recruiter about that first. If you've ever been to the mental facility, you've ever had a mental health counseling done, anything like that, it's very important that you talk to your recruiter before you fill those out as well. And also those questions will show up in physical screening. So it's important, again, don't touch that section unless you're doing that with your recruiter. I'm probably going to repeat that a few more times because it's very important. Technology information, that's a really easy one. Those are just yes or no answers. We're going to get to the more complicated ones here soon. So we'll fill those out, press no. Okay, there we go. Moving on. All right. And then now we're to group, member, and association. So again, follow along with me. If you need to pause this video, please pause the video. Again, it's important that you don't get ahead of me and don't go through any of these without watching this first, okay? So you filled all those out, good to go. Now we are, again, you see complete, there you go. Contact method. Incomplete, you should see something in here already. Your recruiter probably inputted a little bit of this already to create your profile, but what you need to do is see how it says incomplete on both of those. You need to make these say complete, okay? So first none, we're going to click on telephone. We're going to click edit, and it should say home/current. Even if that's your cell phone number, we want it to say home/current. You're going to click best time to contact. I would just click both, but it doesn't matter as long as you put one. Again, contact type, it has to be your current, home/current. So even if it's your cell phone, make it home/current. Okay, then you're going to click save. Okay, and then for email, you're going to do the same thing. Click on select, hit edit. Okay, and then there we go. So those are good to go. You need to make sure that you click save on every one of these. That way it'll show that says applicant input. Otherwise, it's just going to show incomplete, and that's not good. Okay, aliases. Most likely you're not going to have any on this one. Okay, so you can just go ahead and leave aliases blank. There's no way to click save on it for you. I don't think, can I? I don't even think we can save this one from the recruits. So no, you're not even going to mess with this one. Okay, so just go for aliases. You can just go ahead and leave that one not started if your recruiter didn't already do it for you. Just leave aliases alone unless you've used other names legally used other names. I don't care about nicknames or anything like that, but if you've legally used any other names, go ahead and add an alias. But if not, then just leave that one at not started. That's fine. Okay, now we're on residences. This is where it starts to get a little bit more complicated. Okay, so we need to cover all the dates from the time that you turn 16 until the present date. Okay, so right now, as you can see, it has your current address in there most likely, but we're not done yet. Okay, so at least this has to at least cover 10 years or back to before your 16th birthday. Okay, so I wrote as my birthday being 2001, so I think that makes me what, 21 years old. So I need to cover back to before my 16th birthday. Okay, so we're just going to use this one address here. I clicked edit. I clicked on the button and then I clicked edit. So what I'm going to do is we're going to say I moved in to this address on April 1st of, April 1st of, what is this? It has to be at least 10 years ago, or back before your 16th birthday. So it's 2021 right now at the time of this video. So let's say I lived there since 2015. So April 1st, 2015 is the from date, and then the to date would be present because I currently live at this address. Okay, and then you're going to click, is this residence? Most likely you're going to click other. If you currently rent it, you might click rented or leased by you. If you own it, you'll click owned by you. Let's say it's your parents' house, you're going to click other and you're going to write parents' house. Okay, but I just made a mistake because everything needs to be in all capital letters. Again, make sure everything is in all capital letters if it allows you to. Okay, I have this set as my permanent address, and this is the only place I've lived since I was 16. So there we go. So now we're down to the reference information. We need to put a reference for this address on here. Okay, so for last name, again, the reference cannot be related to you in any way, and it can't be used twice anywhere on the form. So let's put my reference for this address in here. Okay, we need first, middle, and last name. Okay, first, middle, and last name. So I'm going to say this is a friend. I have their first, middle, and last name. If you confirm with this person that they don't have a middle name, what you can do is you can type in NMN, as you see on the screen right now, for no middle name. But you have to confirm that they don't have a middle name, okay? Because we're going to confirm it if so. So go ahead and put your reference information. It can be anyone. It can be a friend, a landlord, a neighbor. It doesn't matter as long as they're not related to you, okay? Then you have to put the reference's address in there. All right, so we're going to put my reference's address in there. Tropicana, okay, okay. Oops, street may be invalid. Okay, you need to make sure you put avenue, Tropicana Avenue. Okay, that's in Las Vegas, Nevada, 89012. Okay, General directions, you don't need to worry about general directions. For phone number, okay, see how it gives you 2 spaces for phone numbers? You don't need to know 2 phone numbers on this person, but you have to at least fill in the blanks for both of these because you can't leave anything blank. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the same phone number in twice. Okay. One thing you're not, actually 3 times. I'm going to put the same phone number in there 3 times. Okay. What you're not allowed to do is you're not allowed to click I don't know. Okay. So then you can't click I don't know on the email address. We need to have an email address in there. Do not leave that blank. Okay. Okay, see how I put everything in there. All right. And then this is my only residence. So that's all I'm going to do. Okay. So now you're going to see me go back to the screen, and how I know I have it complete is the date is in there now. So 2015 until present, that covers back to my 16th birthday, because in this case, I'm 21 years old or whatever it is. So I'm covered back to my 16th birthday. Then once you've completed, you've covered all the dates from your before your 16th birthday to the current date. Do you have any additional residences to report? The answer should be no. You're going to save that answer, and then you are done with that section. Return to profile, and you're done with residences. Okay, now let's just say that you have an additional residence. You've lived 2 or 3 places since your 16th birthday. That's fine. So I'll be back in residences. Let me show you how that works. If you need to add another one, so where it says, do you have additional residence support? That should be clicked yes. And then it will give you an option to click add, and then you just add another one. You just need to make sure that the dates match up perfectly. There can't be any gaps in the dates. Okay. So again, if you need to pause this video at any time so you can follow along, so you can enter your residences, go ahead and do that. All right. Next one is employment or military service history. Okay. So you need to add all of your employment history covering from your 16th birthday to present date. So we're going to click add civilian employment. And then me, I've never had a job before. So all I'm going to do is click unemployment. And then I'm going to put a person. Actually, I've had one job before. So let's say I've had one job. My current job is Taco Bell. All right. So Taco Bell, it has to be in all capital letters. Oops. Taco Bell. Okay. Employment activity, it would be non-government employment if it's Taco Bell. I am a cashier at Taco Bell. It's a part-time job. Hours worked approximately per week is 20 hours per week. My job responsibilities are ring up customers, clean, and what else? What else should we say? I also prepare food as well sometimes. There we go, prepare food. So that's how it should look. Again, all capital letters. I've worked there for, let's say I've worked there since before I was 16. So let's say March, I don't know what the date would be, but we're just going to do this for time's sake. You need to enter your actual dates in there. So the from date to present is present. Okay, just to make this quicker. All right, here's the address. So this is the employer address. So my Taco Bell's address is 74 West Horizon Ridge Parkway. Okay, these are not correct addresses. I'm just doing this for the sake of your learning. Henderson, Nevada. Oops, look, you have to click location in the United States. Okay, don't leave that unchecked. Okay, because then it will allow you to enter in the state. And the county is Clark County in most cases if you're doing this in Las Vegas. And the zip code is 89012. Okay, the phone number is 702. Okay. Okay, we have the phone number in there. You don't make up the dates, but I'm doing that just for the sake of this. Is your work physical address different than your current address? Most likely, or than your employer's current address? Most likely, no. The physical address is going to be the same. So you can just click no and it will auto-populate. And then you need to enter in your supervisor's information. So your supervisor's information. So my supervisor's name was, Godfrey. First name was Anthony. Okay, so we entered that in. His middle name was John. Okay, is supervisor address different? The answer is going to be no, so that way it will populate it. That's Taco Bell's address again, so you can use that. Then you need to put the position of the person. The email address is Anthony G at tacobell.com. Okay, there we go. The phone number is already in there because we clicked no on that question before. When it says, did you previously work for that employer? That means, have you worked for them twice? So the answer will most likely be no. For this employment, did you receive any written warnings, officially reprimanded, suspended, anything like that? I'm going to click no. If the answer is yes to that, you're going to have to provide documentation to back that up. So let's hope that you put no on that answer. Okay. And then once that's done, you need to remember to click save. If you don't click save, it won't save. Okay. All right. And then, oops, alpha or hours worked must be numeric. So see how I accidentally put it a space after hours worked? Just make sure you take away that space and that should fix that problem. A space counts as a character, so save. Okay, so I took away the space and that should fix it. Okay, so I covered back till I was 16 years old. Now, if you've had multiple jobs, you're gonna have to add in more. If you've had a period of unemployment, you'll click unemployment when you add civilian employment. Okay, so then additional questions. Once you've added in all your jobs, you're gonna click no. Do you have additional employment to enter? No. Have you received any, have you ever been fired, any like that? The answer should be no on this application, okay? Save employment answers. Okay, and then you'll have an employment screening section down at the bottom where page 1, so you're gonna fill that out. Okay, do you have any former federal civilian employment excluding military that you haven't already added? Probably the answer is gonna be no to that because you've done everything already and they're just asking if you have any more to add, okay? So now you should see it says applicant input. Now you can return to profile and you're done with that section. So again, pause this video if you need help or if you need time to fill out that video or that portion, okay? Military service schools, most likely you can't add anything to that unless you've had ROTC or you've done any military service schools. You can just leave that one blank. It's okay to leave that one blank if you've never done ROTC or anything like that. Then we're gonna go into foreign history. This one should be a fairly simple one. If you have a passport and you've ever traveled before, you'll have to click yes on a couple questions, but we're just gonna say you've never traveled outside of the United States. So all these answers should be no. If you have traveled outside the United States, make sure you read through these questions and you fill it out appropriately, okay? If you click yes, and you click save, it'll populate with some more questions for you to answer. Okay, now we're on page 2, but that should be pretty self-explanatory, so you don't gotta worry about that too much. All right, we're just going down. Most of these answers should be no. Again, if it's yes, you can go ahead and click yes, and it's probably gonna ask you to explain your yes answers. Just take that with a grain of salt. And then that section should be done. Okay. Background investigation. This one is an important one. Again, so we're gonna go to page 1. And then, have you ever served in the military? No. In the last 7 years, have you ever been discharged? That's an important question. Probably no for all of these, especially if you're non-prior service. If you've ever been employed by the US government, unless it was like a government agency type of job, you can just click no. Okay. I know this is seeming kind of tedious, but it's really important that you follow along with all this, okay? These answers should be no. I'm on page 2 now, okay? I'm going through this with you right now, so you can go through this with me as well, okay? Page 3, has the US government ever investigated your background? Most likely the answer is gonna be no on these. If it is yes, then you can go ahead and fill it out appropriately, but most likely it's gonna be no, so I'm just gonna click no. I'm kind of going through this as if like you're fresh out of high school student, right? Okay, so now I'm on education. This is an important one, okay? Education. So most likely you're either a high school student or you're out of high school and you're done with high school. So you're gonna go fill out these questions, okay? So have you attended any schools in the last 10 years? Most likely the answer to that question is going to be yes. Okay, let's say that you are currently, you just graduated high school. So now you're a high school graduate. Now, if you're a high school senior or a high school junior, you need to annotate that. So it's going to be one of these three questions, one of these three answers. So high school graduate is what I'm going to click on this one. So then it's going to ask, did you graduate from a traditional high school? Yes. Do you have a post-secondary certificate? We're going to go with no. Have you ever been enrolled in ROTC? Any of those? We're going to go with no. Do you authorize the Army to access your SAT scores? You got to click yes on that one. And then click save. And then once you fill out that section, you're going to see this down on the bottom. It's going to populate. It's going to say add education. Don't forget to add your education. This is an important one. A lot of people accidentally leave this blank. You have to add your education. Okay, so for most of you, if you went to a traditional high school, you should be able to look up your high school. So we're going to go to high school lookup. And you can't actually see it on your screen because it's sharing on a different part, but you should see a spot where it says look up school, and you can do that by zip code. And if you click zip code, I'm going to click in 89002, and then you click go. So you can't see this on your screen right now because it's not sharing for some reason, but just kind of follow along with my voice. And then, so let's say you're a Foothill High School student. I'm going to type in filter schools by zip code, and then I'm going to type in the zip code. The zip code for Foothill High School is 89002. I'm going to click on Foothill High School. Then I'm going to click select, and then see how it populated Foothill High School in here. Now it's got the address and all that. Now, if you can't search for your high school, you can't find your high school, you're going to have to manually enter it. It means it's not a traditional high school. So the education type is high school. Online school is no for this case. Okay, so now I'm going to enter in the dates that I went to Foothill High School. So the beginning of the school year is generally August. So we started on August 5th, and we went to Foothill High School from the end date was 1998. Let's say I graduated 1988. So we graduated in May of 1998, May 15th. Okay, the from date was 1990. Sorry, not 1998. I'm losing my mind. That would be so. Okay, so I was born in. So you should be able to look up the dates that you went to the school, right? So I was born in 2000 and when did I say I was born? 2000 and sorry. My birthday is 2001. I graduated. Let's say I graduated in 2000 and sorry. Let's say oops. So let's say date's invalid. What year is this right now? 20. Hold on. I'm losing my mind. Okay, 2021. So I'm just trying to do the math because I'm making up these dates, but you shouldn't have to make up the dates. You should know the dates. So let's say I graduated. So I graduated in 2018. I'm losing my mind. I'm putting 1900s because I'm old. So just bear with me here. 2018. So you should have went to high school. You would have started in 2014. So you're just going to put your dates in here. If you're not sure the exact dates, it's okay. They just have to match up in the system. Okay. So I went until May 15th of 2018 and I graduated. The most important thing here is when you click graduated, you're going to click yes. You're going to click high school diploma. And you're going to click graduation date. Now the graduation date that you enter here has to match your high school diploma. So I ended school on May 15th. So that means I graduated on May 18th of 2018. Okay. That can't be estimated. It has to match with your diploma. Now, let's say that you are a high school student or currently a high school student. The only difference here is you're going to leave the to date blank and you're going to click present here. Okay. But in this case, I graduated. So all that's filled in, that's perfect. So now what you need is a reference for the time that you went to your school. So in this case, I don't actually need a reference in here because it was over 3 years ago. But let's say that Actually, no, we will put a reference. So your reference has to be in here. So this can be one of your high school teachers. That's fine. So let's put in a high school teacher here. Okay. Right. And then his email. Oops, you can't click I don't know. You're not allowed to click I don't know. I want to put in the email at Foothill. Okay. And then, so the thing is, if you're going to use a teacher, you don't have to use a teacher, but the easiest thing to do is just use one of your teachers. That way you can use your school address. So you can click reference work address is the same as school address. That'll populate. And then you just need to enter the school phone number in here. All right. And then you should be done with that. Okay. Just make sure you click best time to select. You can click both or whatever you want. For credit hours, it would be 0. And then semester hours, okay? If you're a high school student. Okay, and then you're gonna click save. Okay, so it's not required here, but I'm clicking save anyway. If you attended high school within the last 3 years, you have to have a reference in there, all right? Now, let's say that you're in college and you wanna get credit for your college credits. Then you need to add another education segment. So basically you have to add any education that you've had since you were 16 years old in this section. So you just keep clicking add education and you add all your education. Once you're done adding your education, you're gonna click, do you have additional education to enter? Click no, click save. And then you're done with that one, all right? So again, I know I'm a little scatterbrained with this, that's okay. I'm just kind of doing this as we go. So don't really stress over what I'm saying, just kind of try to follow along and make sure that you're doing the things that I say are important here, okay? So it's just really important that you add your education on that one. All right, for financial history, this should be an easy one. All the answers should be no on this one. So just go through these and see if any of the answers are yes, but most likely they're all gonna be no. And then save, okay? Again, if you need time, just pause this video. Whatever you do, don't get ahead of me because we're going to get to an important part here, which is family and associates. So for family and associates, this is an important one. At a minimum, you need to list mom and dad at a minimum, okay? So what you're going to do, if you're married, you'll click add spouse, all that. For most of you, that's not going to apply to you because most people joining are between 17 to 21. So we're going to click add relative and associate. That's the important section. So provide relative type. You see this drop down here. So all of these people, anyone on this list that applies to you, you have to add them to your family and associates. So this is going to be maybe a time consuming section for some of you. For some of you, you may not have very much family, so it won't be as time consuming. But the most important ones are that you add mother and you add father. So let's go ahead and add my mother first. So mother's last name is, mother's last name. Okay, and I put my mother's last name. She's not deceased, so we're gonna put no there. Okay, she is not a dependent. Dependent means they're dependent on you, not vice versa. She is nearest relative. So one person on here, you have to click nearest relative. So we're gonna go with my mom on that one. And then we're gonna go with her birth date. So her birth date is April 1st of 1972. And then her place of birth, you should be able to find that out either on your birth certificate, or you can just ask her what city and state she was born in. She was born in Chicago, Illinois. And then the country, you have to click location is in the United States, Chicago, Illinois. Okay. And then her address is, she lives in Michigan. So her address is, right, and that would be, let's say, here. And then make sure you add the zip code. Okay, and then we're gonna put her phone number in there. Okay, make sure you click best time to contact. I don't care what it is, just make sure you put something in there. And then also don't forget to provide your country's the citizenship of their country. So so in this case, I'm going to click United States and add. Okay. If they're not a citizen, you got to click what country they're a citizen of. And if they're a permanent resident, you're going to have to add some extra information and it'll ask for that. Okay. Then it's going to say, has this person used, or if maiden name is same as current name, click same as listed above. Okay. So in this case, this is not her maiden name. She's married to my dad, right? So we're going to say, has this person ever used any other names? The answer to that is going to be yes. In most of your mother's cases, that's going to be yes, because if they've ever been married before, most likely they've changed names. So we're going to click yes on that. Then we're going to click save. And then you're going to see that another box pops up. So now it's asking for her alias, which means she's used another name. So now we need to put her maiden name in there or any other name she's ever used before, right? So, okay, so we're going to add in her maiden name. So let's put her maiden name in there, right? Holly, let's actually use a different. Okay, Holly Sue, all right. And then the from date is going to be the dates that she used that name. So most likely it's going to be the day that she was born, right? And then the to date would be the date that she got married. So let's say then she got married to my dad on this date. Okay, all right. And that's the date. And then for the reasons, this is her, she got, or not, I shouldn't have put former married. I should have put maiden name. So her maiden name, this is her maiden name, the name she was born with. Reasons why she changed the name is she married. That's all you got to write in there. Okay. And then you're going to save. And now you've added all her names in there. So any names that she's had, you have to add those names in there, and then you're going to see that they're put in there. And then once you're done adding the names, has she used any additional names, you're going to click no, save answer. And then you are done with that. Okay. And then that's the most, that should be the most complicated one. The rest of them should be pretty uncomplicated. Now you're going to go back to family and associates. And again, you have to at least list your mother and father, but also if you have brothers, sisters, stepbrothers, stepsisters, stepfather, stepmother, you have to enter all those in there. I'm not going to go through each one of those, but now that you have an idea of how to do that section, you can just go through and just keep clicking add. So at a minimum, mom and dad have to be in there. If for some reason you don't have any contact with your mom or your dad for some reason, at least put their basic information in there so we see that it's in there. And then in the comment section, you can add whatever comments you need so we can go ahead and fix it later. Okay, so let's say we're done with that section, okay? Now we're on citizenship. We're gonna assume that you're a US citizen, so this should be a pretty easy one. Do you currently possess a US passport, either current or expired? So if you've ever had a passport, you've got to click yes to this. In this case, we do not have a passport, so we're going to click no. All right, so but if you have a passport, it's going to ask for your passport number and all that stuff. Also, remember, you need to bring your passport in for your recruiter to see that. Okay, if you ever had dual citizenship, okay, for most of you, that's going to be a no. If you have dual citizenship, you'll probably know about it. Okay. So you should be done there. I clicked save, so we're done. Again, if you do have a passport, you have to enter that information in there. Now on the last one, we're on character references. So you have to have at least 3 character references in here. So I'm just going to show you how to do one, but here's how it goes, okay? The character reference you have to write in that you've known them for at least 7 years, okay? At least 7 years. So we're going to go through here. So my first character reference is, there we go, Jonathan. So here's the thing, is you cannot use the same person twice, okay? You cannot use the same person twice. So if you use them as a reference for either your residences or your supervisor information or anything like that, you cannot use them again, okay? So these are the references that will most likely get called if you're applying for a secret security clearance. So make sure that they're gonna say that they've known you for at least 7 years, okay? The only thing that you don't have to fill out on here is rank and title. I don't care about that. You can click not applicable on that one, but everything else has to be filled out. So are they a friend, a neighbor, whatever? We're going to put friend. Okay. We're going to put their address down. So we got to put their address down. All right. So there's their address. Make sure it's their full address. Okay. All right. And then their phone number has to be in there. You can't leave anything blank, but what you can do is you can add the same phone number twice. That's fine. Okay. You don't have to have multiple phone numbers for them, but you at least have to put it in there twice, so that way it doesn't error out on us later on. And then that's it. That's all you need for the reference information. See? And you have to do that 3 times for 3 different people. Oh, I forgot to put the date in there. Good call. So I've known them. We have to have known them for at least 7 years. So if it's 2021 right now, so 7 years ago, we have to have known them for at least 7 years. Okay. So I've known this person since 2009. Okay, the to date should be present. Okay, there shouldn't be an end date because you still know them, right? And then also we need to make sure that we put their email address in there. You can't click I don't know for email address, okay? And again, we're doing everything in capital letters. Don't forget that. And so save. So you can actually click save and add another if you want to add more. So there has to be at least 3 in there. I'm not going to add all 3 right now, but just so you can see that that's complete. Okay, once you're done, you're going to click do you have additional persons to list, and then you'll click no. Okay, and then that's it. Again, you need 3 references. All right, and then once we're done with that, that should be it. So as you see, it says applicant input all the way down. So that you'll see that it says progress 80% because we didn't fill out, well, I didn't add all the references. So you can see that would add a little more to that bar. But also I didn't do physical screening criteria and I didn't do moral screening criteria yet because my recruiter is going to do that with me, right? So if this is not done already for you, do not do it without your recruiter. I'm going to repeat that again. You can't change your answers later. All right. And then that's it. As soon as you finish this, it's important that you let your recruiter know so your recruiter can go in and check everything. And then probably what's going to happen is you and your recruiter are going to meet up either over the phone or by in person to go over all of your answers and make sure that you didn't make any mistakes. But if you watch this video, hopefully this was helpful for you too. Hey, in the comments section, please let me know if this was helpful for you because it's important that this is filled out perfectly. If it's not filled out perfectly, it's going to be not good. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen right now. So one more thing to add. So you see how it says applicant input? When your recruiter goes in and does it, it's going to show complete because your recruiter is going to validate that all the information is correct. Okay, so again, it's really important that you do all this stuff perfectly the first time. Hopefully this video helped. If you have any questions, contact your recruiter directly, obviously, and then that's it. Okay, do me a big favor. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, subscribe to my YouTube channel, make a comment in the comment section. Let me know how I could improve the next version of this video. Hopefully this helps out. I'll talk to you soon. Talk to you later. Hold on, let me stop sharing. I'll see you guys later. If you have anybody else who wants information about joining the Guard, make sure you send that information to your recruiter. And that is it. See you later. Goodbye.